Shkodran and Goran in the house, back with another bang on video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another news video, of course. Of course, we've got some really strange news for you guys. Some not so good looking statistics, but also we're going to talk about something special in terms of what some Arsenal legends think about Mikel Arteta's decision making against Leicester City. But more importantly, we're going to talk about Shkodran Mustafi being offered a new contract. What? What is Mikel Arteta thinking? Like, what? Yes, everything will be discussed in this video. So watch the video till the end and make sure you subscribe. And of course, thank you so much. We've reached 13,000 subscribers, man. Wow, it's really awesome. I've always been wanting to reach a good milestone, and 13,000 is looking really cool. Let's march on to the next one. But more importantly, we're going to focus on content. So that is a big reason why I did not go live today. And I would want to tell you guys that I will be live very scarcely. Yeah, I think I've got to stop going live because I think once Kiran Gajmer told me, don't go live every day or, you're losing the essence. I guess he's right. I think at the end of time, 365 days a year, if you go live, it does not make any sense. I think you would want people to come in for you. And I'm pretty much sure that there is going to be a time wherein I would think that going live would be much more important. And when I feel that, I'll definitely come back. But right now, I would want to take this time out and focus more on me, my life, because I've been ripped. I think I deserve this break because I've literally covered the whole transfer saga. So let's just move on to the first news of the day, because Jack Wilshere, ex-Arsenal player, is reportedly leaning towards the MLS after he agreed to cancel his West Ham contract this month. Yes, the 28-year-old, we all know, has mutually disagreed. Mutually agreed to cancel his contract out. So it looks like he either would want to go to La Liga, or probably if someone is looking for him at Serie A, or probably at the MLS. Let's say all the best for him in his career. I'm pretty much sure that he has some years left in the tank. But moving on, well, Dennis Bergkamp's son, has some beautiful words about Arsenal. He says, whether I choose the Emirates or Highbury, I would have preferred to play at Highbury. There are the memories of everything my father has done for the club. So yes, you got to understand the love that Mitchell knows, and he knows about his father's legacy, and that's the best part of Mitchell. But moving on, let's talk about Martin Keown's comments on Mikel Arteta. We'll discuss about it, but more importantly, Arsenal have already played three of the sides who finished above them last season and faced a fourth with their trip to Manchester United on Sunday. Now, the problem is that they have lost to Liverpool, Man City and Leicester, and average stats from those three games make for fairly grim reading. These are the stats. The opponents have 1.6 goals. Their possession, 43.9 Arsenal's, and opposition had more possession, had more shots. Had more shots on target, had more touches, and of course had more passes. So Arsenal need to understand that if they are to cut above the rest, cut above the best, they need to improve these things. But moving on, Ian Wright has this to say about Mesut Ozil. He says, for whatever reason Arteta doesn't want to play Mesut, it's a shame because he's a quality player. Sometimes it just happens like that. Unfortunately for Mesut, as a professional, he wants to play football. It won't happen here. So yes, Mesut is done and dusted for now. But moving on, let's talk about it. Arsenal's Gabriel has made 474 passes in the Premier League so far this season. No player has made more. My God, he's got more passes than Jorginho ever had in this season. But moving on, but let's talk about it. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the Premier League this season. We're going to talk about the shots, the expected goals, and the goals that he's scored. Against Fulham, 3 shots, expected was 0.4, expected goals was 0.4, and he scored 1 goal. Against West Ham, only 1 shots, expected goals was 0.1, he got nil. Liverpool, everything was 0. Against Sheffield, 2 shots, expected goals was 0.1, he got nothing. Against Man City, 0 of all. Leicester had 2 shots, expected goals was 0.3. So he is having a really bad start to the Premier League. It doesn't look like that much good and bright for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang right now for Arsenal. But moving on, let's talk about the man of the hour, Shkodran Mustafi. It is brought to our concern that Shkodran Mustafi has rejected Arsenal's offer of a contract extension in the summer and informed the club that he wants to leave at the end of the season. Now Mustafi is he looks certain to leave under Unai Emery, with the former head coach admitting that it would be have been positive for him and teammate Mohamed Elneny to continue their careers elsewhere. But let's talk about the whole Mustafi has actually hired a new Germany-based agent in January last year, with his father working for the same sports management company, and is said to be keen on a move to Italy with his wife's Albanian Swiss family living close by in Switzerland. Meanwhile, William Saliba will be hopeful for being blooded by Arteta as the Gunners face a congested fixture list with 4 games in 8 days and just a 2-day gap between the Molde and Aston Villa matches next month. So he needs to make sure, Mikel Arteta needs to make sure that he needs to, fight against those right things. Now, Martin Keown literally, I don't know, is actually gone into, and he's actually tearing apart Mikel Arteta in a very right perspective. He says that Mikel has to stop repeatedly tinkering with his formation like Unai Emery used to do. He says they keep changing from one system to another, and they did this with Emery. That's what I would like to see now. The same pictures, the same triangles, the same movements, the same partnerships, the same relationships. If you keep changing it, you don't find a rhythm, and that's something that I found in a very successful team. It was like putting an old pair of slippers on for a game. Everything was there. You would fire it into the midfield to Patrick Vieira, into Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry into the channel. It was 3 passes. These players now are getting the ball now, and it's jamming a little bit. So I think keep it simple and start building from this team. If this is the way he wants to play, keep with it and try to put the people in it and get the messages right and work on it. It was very static. The front 3 never really moved from positions. They didn't make themselves available. This is a brand new project for the manager. We don't want to be overcritical. I believe he's the right man for the job, 100%. Super bright manager, and he's going to have setbacks. It's how he responds to this now. So let's see how Mikel Arteta responds to this. Now, not to his questions. I'm pretty much sure Mikel Arteta is a guy who would want to respond to these kind of criticisms with his performance. Let's see how things will turn for Mikel in the coming days. And talking about it, as I was saying, Mikel Arteta's statistics compared to Unai Emery in the first 26 games in charge of Arsenal. Now, also you can see 26 games played each. Wins. Emery had 3 more wins than Arteta. Had one less draw than Arteta, had 2 less losses than Arteta, and the win percentage was 58%. Goals scored 53. Of course, it was more, but goals conceded is more as well. 9 goals conceded was more compared to Arteta, so Emery was leaky there with 317 shots. Had more shots on target with 57.6% possession. So it looks like Premier League. This actually includes Premier League games only. So Unai Emery's stats look way better than what they are supposedly under Mikel Arteta in the Prem. But moving on, let's talk about Pablo Mari. Arsenal have received an injury boost with the news that Pablo Mari is back in training. Now it is a report that defender is running again and has started ball work. He has been out since June with an ankle blow. We know that that happened against Manchester City. And the reports suggest that he is likely to be back in full training in the next 2 weeks or so. So Pablo Mari will be back, and Arteta would have another option in that centre-back role. But moving on, Brendan Rodgers again reckons that Mikel Arteta is doing a fantastic job at the Emirates. He says, 47 years is a long time. Mikel's done a fantastic job here. I admired as a young manager coming in on his first job. I think he's doing great. For us to be the first team to win here this calendar year really shows the quality of his work. So I think he's got all the respect from his compatriots, man. But moving on, let's talk about the Mesut Ozil conundrum. Laurent Koscielny has opened up about his old pal Mesut Ozil. He says, as a man, he's a very good person who got along with all his teammates. He gave a lot, helped 6 children. He's a generous person with whom I got along very well. As a player, he is, my opinion, a phenomenon. He can find passes that no one sees. He is a maestro. He can rock a game with incredible passes. We're both part of the Arsene Wenger generation. The coach loved him as a player. It was more complicated with Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta. Knowing him, he must always be professional in training, always on time. He is undoubtedly at the level demanded by the Premier League. There is probably a certain case with the club since last year. I hope both sides find a deal that works for everyone. He is a competitor. I hope to see him back on the pitch soon at Arsenal or elsewhere because he is real talent. So yes, these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came your way, all the views and news and everything about Arsenal comes to this platform every single day, twice. So what you gotta do is subscribe and hit that bell icon. I will see you in the next one. And don't forget, we would want to learn more about evolving our content. If you got any suggestions, do mention it in the comment section. I would appreciate that. You guys are not commenting enough, guys. Come on, let's do it. But more importantly, IG Army, 13,000 strong IG Army. It's really good. It's really awesome to be a part of it, of course. But let's see how far we'll go now, because the content is going to vary on this channel, and I'm pretty much sure we've got some ideas, of course. Who's quitting? We're not. But cheers. I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe.